You're listening to the Daily Sales Tips podcast, and I'm your host, Scott Ingram. Today's tip comes from Jeroen Corthout. Jeroen is the co-founder and CEO of SalesFlare, an intelligent CRM built for SMBs selling B2B that's most popular with agencies and fast-growing tech companies. Here he is.
These days, remote selling is not something some people do anymore. We all do it. Remote selling was growing steadily for years, with inside sales marching on to replace a lot of the existing field sales. COVID-19 has, however, changed things in sales very abruptly. Every one of us is now sitting behind his or her computer screen, connecting with customers. What's amazing about remote selling is that you can all do it from one place, your office chair. There's no need to drive to meetings, be 15 minutes early, grab a coffee, get settled in the meeting room. All that is gone. You can now just stay in the same place and take one meeting after another. Whereas a field salesperson, you can do maximum 4 or 5 meetings per day. When you're remote selling, you can take 2 or 3 times that amount in a day. Despite being more productive and efficient, however, remote selling can make your efficacy drop, as there's always at least 2 screens between you and your prospect. Part of your body language and your tone of voice can get lost. Plus, you're not actually present with them anymore. That makes it harder to connect on a personal level, which in turn makes it harder to close deals. If you want to solve for that human disconnect and start closing more deals again, the solution is to be extra personable when selling remotely. Here's a few tips I can share with you. 1. Use video calling over phone calling and always turn on your video, even if it's just for the beginning of the conversation. It sets a warm tone for the whole rest of the conversation. 2. Be yourself and be a bit more informal than you would be in a face-to-face meeting. Make a bit more time for small talk. It's definitely good to compensate a bit for the difficulties while creating a personal connection remotely. 3. Try using more chat instead of emails between video calls. Its interactivity makes for much stronger bonds. Email is often a slow and formal ping-pong game, while chat allows for a real conversation. 4. If you end up calling without video anyway, use sounds that clearly communicate what you're doing, like a laugh when you're smiling, a sound when you're thinking, to make a stronger connection. It's important to use your tone of voice abundantly. 5. Be extra thoughtful. Bring up important things you remember from previous conversations more than you would in a face-to-face conversation. And don't limit yourself to business, but also bring up personal interests of your prospect. And a final one, ask whether you're pronouncing their name correctly. It shows you care. My first name is pronounced Jeroen, in case you were wondering, maybe when you just read it.
For more about Jeroen, a link to a very detailed blog post he wrote on remote selling, and of course to the SalesFlare website where you can set up a free trial, just click over to DailySales.Tips/587. Once you've done that, be sure to come back tomorrow for another great sales tip. Thanks for listening.